hello, everyone. Welcome back to Paranormal Connections radio show, where George and I, for the next hour, will be having an open topic.
Yes, best time. Best time. Open topic. Hi, Christina.
Hello, George.
How you doing?
I love these kinds of shows just because. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love having guests on. I
Yes.
love that and picking people's minds.
Mhm.
But I also love to just like kind of comb and through and see what people are talking about on social media, the issues, and
Mhm.
bring it up for discussion and allow our listeners as well to be able
Right.
to join in on the conversation. So we got a lot to talk about tonight. Doing a little early birthday show. My birthday's tomorrow, so we're going to have a little
Yes.
celebration time. Come on. All right, that
Well,
tells my age right there.
no, actually, you know what? And I'm gonna let I talk a lot, but I'm trying to let you talk. But what's great about the show, is like you said, we can speak whatever the subjects may be, and you know for a fact that you'll bring stuff like at a higher level. You'll be able to you tell things how it is. So with the listeners, what's great is they can kind of like put it at about a 7, and they could vent out how they may feel about the field right now, what's going on in the field right now, because it's changed in the last 5 years. To me, I think it's changed for the worst. Absolutely the worst. And it's sad because it was such a, we're all letting it slip through our fingers. How's that sound? And for you
I
that's been
agree.
doing for 20 years, I mean, you've been doing for a while, you're well educated, you're well respected. People see you coming down the street, they're either A, afraid of you because they say, oh shit, or B, they can't wait to shake your hand or give you a hug and say thank you for speaking what I was too afraid to speak up. Um, this is a great show tonight. I missed it last week due to work. I apologize, but um, man, this is solid tonight because this field is slipping through our fingers. And what sucks is the newcomers coming into this don't know how great it really was. I say 5 years ago, and I'm not blaming COVID. That's a bunch of bullshit. Just we're letting it slip through our fingers. And but most important thing is this. I got to do this real quick. Don't cut me off. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, you badass paranormal queen. Tomorrow's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. I love you. I think you're amazing. I think you are just an amazing lady. And I hope you have a great birthday starting now, even though it's tomorrow.
Well, I appreciate you. I do. And I appreciate everybody who is joining tonight. Just want to get some shout outs. Glenn, thank you so much. Glenn is a longtime friend of mine from
Yep.
here in Sacramento. He was actually really excited last week, and then we had camp last minute. I said, but
My
make sure
fault.
it's okay. Make sure you're there next week. We'll be doing it. It'll be good. So,
Yes. Yeah.
Stanley.
Yeah.
Stanley says, hi, guys, from Dead Time Paranormal over here in Boston. Love to see you, Stanley. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah. And these are
Um,
great people to be. And please just tell me to shut the hell up. These are two great individuals that just popped up. They are great, and maybe they can give us a little input. And I'm not here to start trouble. No drama. We don't do that. But you know what? What do they see? What's going on in this field? I mean, I know people think, oh, it's this or that. I mean, we all have a voice, and we can all make it better. Unless you think it's perfect, then go.
oh,
Then
yeah.
great. But
If you think it's perfect, you also believe in paranormal unity and everything else. So go
yeah,
figure.
yeah. Go figure.
Hey
Jesus.
Dee, thank you so much for the birthday wish, all the way from Hawaii. Again, another
Wow.
longtime friend of mine. So thank you guys for joining. I've also posted in YouTube as well as on Facebook the link if anybody wants to join tonight. Otherwise, hang around in the chat room, put out what you like, and until
Yeah.
then, we will just go ahead and get started.
Let's do
And I
it.
think that you started on a great thing. I know the other day we were kind of having a conversation because both of us are seeing so many posts from people in the paranormal, and it's kind of funny because again, when you've been in the field as long as I have, like it's new to new people, but it's like this, never ending revolving door of how people, are. Oh, hey, Kendall, South Carolina checking in. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Wow.
And, you know, I'd say, I know there's a lot of people who are interested in the paranormal, and people all think it's like so fun, and it can be, but this is the most cutthroat field I have ever found. And it has not gone, I always kind of had hope that it might get better as time went on, but absolutely not. It has absolutely got worse. And, it, you know, people are friends one minute, they hate each other the other minute, they're trying to destroy them, they're trying to destroy their careers, the things that people and the lengths that people go to hurt somebody else when they're mad in this field is disgusting. I mean, I've been
Yeah.
through it myself, so I'm
Me
talking
too.
from experience. Also, people trying to pull other people onto the bandwagon, and like it's like a gang mentality.
You know
And
what sucks?
but
I interrupted you. God dang
no,
it.
you're
No,
fine.
no.
No,
What
hey, I'm Italian.
what's
This is what we have to
okay?
do.
What sucks, and I know people deal with this all the time. This is what I find very weak in some people is let's pretend let's pretend that George has a problem with Christina George. That problem should be between just the two of them. But then you got people that'll suck everybody, hey, and they get a big group of people behind them, even though it had nothing to do with them. And then those people turn on you. And I'm thinking, because that's happened to me, and I'm thinking, wait, it's between me and Christina George. She stole the last cookie on the shelf the other day. I was fucking pissed off. But you know what? Excuse my language. But I was really pissed off. But that's between us. It's when
Right.
everybody else has nothing better to do in their lives and they just want to jump on this little bandwagon of, well, if he's arguing with Christina George, she's my friend. Well, I hate George now. So I'm going to tell 20 people to go ahead and whatever. So I feel
Uh,
sorry for the people that are weaker than me because there's some weak people out there that I feel bad for because suicide could happen. People could do silly things because they get treated so shitty, so bad. Sorry, I have a
I
potty mouth.
I've definitely seen it happen.
Yeah,
Hey, Carolyn, she said exactly. Again, longtime paranormal friend. We've
yeah,
investigated. I mean, she's seen the same kind of things, and Kendall's agreeing too. He's saying drama gets in the way of the truth, and it absolutely does. And
yeah.
I want to add something of why people take sides.
Hmm.
And it's kind of the same thing. Like when people get into the field, they're like, and I remember, like when you first got in and you're like, everybody's so excited, like, ooh, I want to get into speaking at the paracons. I want to do
Yep,
this. I want to do that.
yep,
Until you see that that's a complete shit show as well. I've never
yep,
seen so many cheating scandals that go on.
yep, yep,
So many
yep, yep, yep.
people that are so fake because they talk so much shit about other people, and then they're in their face and they act like, oh, they're buddies. It,
Yeah.
it's crazy. But people take sides because they don't want to get on the bad side of these same people. And that's why I know for a fact I probably don't get invited to as many, and I stopped doing a lot. Is I'm just not that ass kisser.
Hmm.
I don't care. you
Hmm.
know uh oh, you're going to give me a free hotel room and you're going to buy my dinner. I'm still paying to get there, my flights, my car,
Yep,
everything else that I'm
yep,
doing. So
yep.
I come out, on the low end of this anyway. But I did it because a lot of the lectures I were giving was like paranormal 101 and safety in the paranormal, things that you should
Yeah.
be doing. So I thought it was important. But when people tried to blackball me, and oh, you'll never be in speak at an event again, I was like, two middle fingers up to all of you, because how about I'll
Yeah.
just start my own radio show and I'll just reach more people than you have at your little events, and I
Hmm.
still am doing the same thing that I wanted to do, was educating and helping people.
Well,
um,
you're absolutely right. I'm sorry.
no,
Go.
no, no. No, go ahead.
Well, you're absolutely right though. I mean, I used to get my heart broken when I did get invited. See, I was the opposite. I gave so much to this community, for positivity. I talked to people being a cancer survivor. I've been there. I was always amping people up, and I was like, what, don't give up. And I was starting to get like, I wasn't doing it to get to Paracons. I was doing it because I love people. I really do truly love people. And it just made me more vulnerable where people can go after me, I guess. They didn't believe that I was such a, I don't know, just a positive person, I guess. And it backfired on me. So then, and what I'm trying to say to you is I wanted to get invited to stuff because I wanted to, like, if somebody was to come in and say, look, you know what, I'm dealing with cancer. Well, wait a second. I got you. You just can't
Right.
lose hope. You can't lose hope.
But
I got you.
now being in it for a while and seeing how things
Yeah,
are,
it's nasty.
how do you feel about the paracons? I mean, are you, is like that what
No,
you yeah, see?
I don't want to do. I don't want to go to Paracons. I will go if it's close to home, but I won't go. I think Paracons. It's not fair to the people that they pay all this money to investigate. Well, one, you don't really investigate. It turns into a show where it's 50,000 people. You're not investigating. So you're just there to maybe have a fun time and make new relations with people and find out new, make new memories. And you may meet 50 people, but you're gonna walk away with one person that you can probably trust. One person out of that 50, and that's just real talk. And so I've learned that, George, not everybody's going to love you. George, you got to realize that, you just got to realize that this world is very, very ugly, and it's just, there's a lot of stress on people. So my thing is this: I used to, like I said, I used to get my heart broken because I wanted to be invited to, let's say, you always used to go to the Arizona one. I never got invited. I wanted to go so bad. um, I wanted to go to a few Nevada ones, and I wanted, but it just never happened because George was a jerk about 4 years ago, man. He was a real jerk. And I created my own problems. It's my fault. But because
You
my
was
feelings,
only Hey, I've been saying forever, there is no instruction manual, which
yeah,
again is why, even when we went through, our issues as,
yeah,
time went on, you had a different perspective than you did when you first came,
huge,
and, you would say, like, I didn't give two cents what anybody thought or said.
yeah,
And they came because I was used to it. They come after me all the time.
yeah.
But as soon as they came after you, were like, "Oh my God, I can't handle this," and
I
you were like, "I'm
I
done."
crawled underneath. I crawled underneath the bed. I crawled underneath the bed because George, and before Paranormal kicked in, George has friends everywhere from playing baseball to just I know George does. Nobody hates George, but as soon as I got in the field, I was thinking that everybody's going to like me. Everybody's going to, I'm a nice guy, but it backfired because I think that some people were actually threat. Don't take this wrong. You could just be honest. You could just tell me the truth if I'm wrong. Is I think people were threatened by me where I was so nice. I was so nice that people didn't like this nice guy to be here. It was like, I don't know if that makes any
Well,
sense at all.
yeah, I could see that. Well, again, too, it's like new people in the field, like they think alike. So like those people will like you, but like
Yeah.
people who've been in the field a long time, when you're that like, oh, that positive, and as soon as you start talking about parent unity, which you were
Yeah.
really big on
Oh,
back then, and
yeah.
so it was like you and I were on completely different sides of the fence. So people have been there for a long time. They're like, oh, this dude don't know what the hell he's talking about.
It's true.
This is too much. So that's kind of how it
You're
is.
right.
And again, some of people who are introduced, they're just like he has so much to learn because they're gonna eat him up and spit him out.
And they
And
did. And they did. Oh, they
but
did.
now but see, now you came back, you have a new outlook. And Stanley
Yeah.
said something. He said paranormal investigating isn't a competition. It should be a good time for everyone. And I 100% agree with that.
Yep.
But it's not always that way, unfortunately.
Nope.
And so same thing. I love getting out and traveling. I really don't do the paracons anymore. Maria Yates, the Yates used to do the Arizona until they moved. And I was good friends with them, which is why I supported what they were doing. But I've turned down a lot. Again, that's just not my thing. But I love going to different locations with like
Hmm.
a small bunch of people that I know or something like that, to have fun, or to another team at a location to see how we can work together, things like that.
Hmm.
um eh, I just have a lot of problem in this field because, as you know, and so many people who do know me, is I'm very real. Like, I don't sugarcoat things. If you ask for my opinion, you are going to get it. But be careful what you ask for, because people say they want your honest opinion if you agree with them. But if you don't agree with them, then all of a sudden I'm a bad
Yeah.
person, which I
Yeah.
mean is okay too, because again, everybody it can think and do whatever they want. I
Mhm.
just choose to stay in my direction and do what I'm doing. And people who like me, great. People who don't like, that's okay too.
Mhm.
It makes me laugh when you say so many people respect. I think there's probably more people in this field that, at least at one point or another, has had a problem with me, because I've done a lot of exposing in this field over the last 15 years I've had the show.
Yeah.
So I've pissed off a lot of people.
Yeah.
But my thing is, if you're not doing shady stuff that you shouldn't be doing, you will never have to worry about me, because I never do a story out of revenge or for revenge for somebody else. I also have to have actual factual receipts that this happened, because I'm not just putting my reputation out there and going after someone with just some BS. So it's hard. I mean, I straddle the fence all the time, on, do I stay? Do I go? But you know what? I never got in this field for popularity,
Mhm.
for recognition, for none of that. I
Right.
got into this field because during my near death experience, I was told that I was supposed to come back. I was supposed to let people know about my abilities and not hide them. I was supposed to use them to help people. And that's what I've tried to do. But I think a lot of people lose track of what we originally got into it for,
Mhm.
because we see like so many, the glitz and glamour people, say, oh, they're making money on TikTok and YouTube and all this kind of stuff. But then you start out legit, and then to be able to keep being a content creator and keep people watching, I start to see too much fakery. And now you got a whole nother thing. So and then you just got some people out here that it's just, I mean, they're just in it for the attention. And I literally see the same people like going on all over to other people I know's pages and just have just so much shit to talk about, anything and everything. It's just like they're just going out to poke people and see if they can
Yeah.
rile them up. So it's a strange field right now for sure.
Well, and there's some, and I know I've seen some people pop up. I think I saw, was it Kendall and his wife Vera? I'll tell you, okay, and I'm not just saying, there's some actual great human beings out there, and there are two of them right there, Kendall and Vera. They put out documentaries. They do everything perfect. If and that's I feel they're perfect. That's my opinion of them.
Remember,
So
no, there's nobody perfect, but they're
okay,
probably pretty good. There you
they're pretty damn close. So, but you hit something on the spot though. You're just saying something, about, this field is just right now where I feel that it's slipping through our fingers. And I think shows like this can sometimes make people think. And I think this show, Paranormal Connections, is something that's needed right now. It's a main ingredient on Wednesday nights because there's people that are frustrated. And oh, what's this thing about people retiring? I see people say, oh, I'm retiring from the paranormal. You don't, how can you say retire from something you don't get paid for? How about just
go.
saying you're
Right.
taking a break,
But
but taking a
even
break.
George, even when they say that they're taking a break, like I've seen so many people
Yeah.
say, "Oh, I'm leaving the field. I'm out of here. I'm never coming back." And then 2 months later, I'm
Yeah.
back.
No, I agree. But there's some great
What
people
was it?
out there. There's Michelle LeBaron. She's absolutely amazing.
Mhm.
There's, I mean, I'm forgetting some names because I'm not very good with names. But there's some great people out there that have been given their blood, their sweat. And when I first started, Michelle LeBaron was like, oh my God, I couldn't get enough of her because I met her for the first time and I was like, holy shit, that's LeBaron. And I remember I was all goo goo guide and stuff like that because she's great at what she does. But I can only imagine, I can't speak for her, but I remember I used to see her so much more and everybody else so much more on podcasts, social media, showing evidence and stuff. And that has halted. And I wish it
Well,
hasn't.
I think a lot of it is, there's a lot of people, again, get frustrated when you
Yeah.
see all these new people and people again who are more willing to kiss everybody's ass to be on a show or be part of an event or whatever.
Right.
It starts to get frustrating because these are people that you're also friends with, and you're like,
Yeah.
nobody's asking me, and I'm busting my ass, and this person has got like a TikTok account, and now
I
all of a
know.
sudden, like they're, so important.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have to tell people all the time, like, I know their hearts, like Michelle, like she's amazing. Like she does it to
She is.
this is her path. Like this is like me, this is what she's supposed to be doing. And it's hard, especially right now, to try to not let it affect you what people are saying. Just because we are also the energy right now is so off. And it is
Good.
just it's got people like one little thing is sending them over the edge. So
You're
it's making people make very rash decisions.
right.
There, a lot of people are going through a lot of anxiety.
Hmm.
A lot of people are going through depression, and I will say I have been one of those. Like I was literally like just in such a funk. I didn't want to do anything. I was thinking about just quitting the show and everything, and just become a recluse or something. I was having suicidal thoughts, and
Oh,
I knew that it wasn't me. That's the crazy part. Is it's like I'm not somebody who believes in suicide.
right. Well,
But
well,
but
well. No, by you saying what you just said, I know you don't like maybe for me to say this, but this show is absolutely needed tonight because for what you just said, there might be one or two or three, four, five individuals going through the same exact thing, and the one thing that's going through these emotions is to feel alone is absolutely heartbreaking. And for you to say what you just said, yes, it concerns me because I'm saying I love you. I tell you how beautiful you are. I think you're amazing. I'm the first person to wish you happy birthday today and sang it. I think you're an amazing lady. But for you to say what you just said, this show is very important because somebody out there, I assure you 100%, will either see it today or tomorrow or the next day saying, wow, I'm not alone. Because that's suicide is when people feel alone that no one's listening and they don't care, I assume. But
yeah.
by you saying that out loud, I can't stress enough, man. I would never let anything happen to you. I can't. Just
Well,
you're
I
just a
think
fun.
it's important, that people realize that, the energy shift we're going through right now
Mhm.
is affecting people like that.
Right.
And, it's funny because I mentioned this to somebody, it's somebody else I'm close with,
Mhm.
and he was telling me, oh, Christina, I can't see how you feel alone. You got all these followers, you have listeners, all these people love you.
Mhm.
But again, people don't realize a lot of that is a facade. Like, yes, I have a lot of listeners. Yes, I have a lot of people on social media. If I put something out, yes, they will interact with it. But when I go silent, there's only a few people who really pay attention and they're like, oh, hold on. And they'll
Mhm.
reach out and
Yeah.
say, haven't seen you for somebody messaged me, haven't seen you on post anything in 6 days. I need to make
Right.
sure you're okay.
Right.
And so there it's a small thing, but when you're going through like the depression, it's weird because even if you have all these people you could reach out to, you don't want to bother them.
Mhm.
It sounds weird because people say, "Oh, you bother me. I would want to know," but that's how it messes with your head. You don't want to be a burden to anybody. People have their own things they're going through, so you internalize everything. And it was to the point the other day, and I was like, "What in the world is going on with me?" Because I've had this happen a few times, and
Mhm.
part of mine, I will tell you, is I've had an attachment since I was a teenager. And the only time it seems to be able to mess with me is when I'm really sick or the energy is really, really strong and it has me really weak. And then it somehow like these kind of ideas come in. But again, I can always tell they're not mine because I don't believe in committing suicide. Um, so it's a very weird thing for me. So I ended up going, and the reason I brought all this up tonight, I ended up going on social media and putting a post like, I don't know what in the world's going on, but like this is what's happening with me. I've been really depressed. And a lot of people were commenting. saying, "Oh my God, I'm going through the same thing." I had people private messaging me because they didn't want to put what they were going on, on my post. And I was actually shocked how many people. So I was like, okay, so this is more than just my attachment. Like, this is happening across the board, and not just, we said this too, not just in the paranormal, just in general.
In
And then when you
life.
get all the negativity, it just
Mhm.
weighs on you more, to the point that I didn't want to be on social media. I didn't want to be out with anybody. I just wanted to be just by myself, and that's not healthy either. So, yeah, but I needed that break. And sometimes you need that break to kind of clear your head, be able to ground, like I did. Like, went to the park, my shoes and socks off, like
Good for you.
grounded, did some meditation, and kind of had to like pull myself back. But for anybody out there who is at this time, oh, thank you, Kimberly. Say happy birthday. Hey, Eddie, nice to see you. Thank you also, Eddie, for the happy birthday. I appreciate you. Um, but I think that it's also, thank you, Carolyn. I think that as we get closer to the eclipse,
Hmm.
I think it's really going to max peak out. I would just say that again, we did the prediction show. Things are already, if people have been paying attention, have already started. And I'm not being shown exactly what's going to happen, but I keep being shown that there's going to be chaos, or quote unquote havoc, that this creates. So I'm not really sure what that means, because it's like trying to figure out a jigsaw puzzle sometimes of what these things are supposed to mean. So everybody just buckle up, know that if you're feeling this, that it is something temporarily, and try to give yourself a break from social media or just like negativity. If you're, having a rough day at work, you're finding that the days are harder to get through. When you come home, to be absolutely honest, to decompress, I come home, I have a 10-minute guided meditation. And I literally, when I wake up in the morning, I listen to it. And when be right when I get off work, I listen to it, because I need to like just calm my brain and let everything that I just went through for the last 8 to 10 hours out the door, and I'll deal with it tomorrow. Because if not, you come home, you're still constantly processing everything. And again, it is really, really affecting people. So definitely it's something to just hang on there. I think that we only probably have a few more weeks, and we should be a little better. Hey,
Sweet.
Danielle, thank you for joining. One of my new friends in Sacramento. Want to talk about something else, and I want to get you guys' opinion, since you guys are in the chat room. I've been seeing there's a lot of drama right now behind the whole Annabelle doll, and people trying to expose, people with the Warren Foundation and all of that. I don't get into any of the drama, because again, I know everybody on both sides, and I understand what both sides, are saying. But I also know that when friendships, or things happen, everybody then just starts putting out their own assumptions, things like that. Now, we know, anybody who knows, is in the paranormal, knows or should know about the Annabelle doll. And, Lorraine, when they put it in the case, had said that, that doll should never be removed from that case. And that was the way it was in the museum, everything. And then all of a sudden, they had the traveling circus show. And yes, I said it. So I'm probably going to piss some people off tonight too. But um, it started out like, okay, I'm seeing it go to all of the expos. I, then I had to see it on, of course, Ghost Adventurers, where it's out of the case. It's sitting there, and they tell Zach, don't touch it, as they're watching on cameras from another room. Now, okay, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You probably don't need to even be out of second grade to figure out, if you say don't touch it to him, he is 100% going to touch it. And then, of course, he's going to be possessed. So my brain, is just like, you got to be kidding me. And that caused a big controversy. And like, that's the first time people were seeing it being taken out of the case itself. Uh, but now we're starting to see more where, TikTok videos, where they're taking it out and transferring it to another case in order to be able to transfer it and all that. And so tonight, I want you guys to tell me, like, what do you think? First of all, we'll put a few questions out there. First of all, and you can answer them too as we go, George. First of all, do you think the Annabelle doll is real, the original? What are your thoughts?
Do I think it's real? See, I don't think it's okay. I don't think it's real. It's kind of like it's also just kind of like the Ouija board. I think it's, I don't believe in a lot of that sort of stuff. To be totally honest with you, I think it's mind trickery. I go if you tell me a doll is possessed, and if I touch it, I could fall on my face 3 days later. I'm gonna say, oh, it's because of the doll. I don't. My personal opinion, I don't believe in all that sort of stuff. To be honest with you, so that's my opinion.
Well, I love this debate though, because we are on completely opposite sides today.
Oh shit, go.
Because first of all, I grew up. My grandmother
Uh-huh.
I was the first granddaughter, and my grandmother, which is the side that I get my abilities from,
Uh-huh.
started buying uh, the porcelain dolls.
Hmm.
Right? I never liked dolls. I've never been into dolls. And I went to go live with my grandmother. And by the time I went to go live with my grandmother, I also had other, there were other girls in our family. So my grandmother now had a whole room with shelves everywhere with all these damn dolls. And I went to go live with my grandparents for a little while for sure. And when I would go to sleep, I would wake up every night by whispers. Christina, come play with us. Wake up, come play with us. And I'm like, no, right? Now, mind you, because I grew up with abilities, I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me, right?
Right.
Freaky ass dolls. And there was this one, you'll probably remember, is it's like the monkey and it had
The
the
key.
symbol and the
Yeah.
drum. Yes. So on top of
Yeah.
all those damn things, she had one of those.
Hmm.
And this thing every night as well, it was like we were gonna have like it was making the announcement that we were going to have the communication and this thing would go off. So
Right.
I took the batteries out of it. Next night it went off again. Now I got a little scared. So I busted it into a million pieces and buried it in my grandparents' backyard.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Now I got in a lot of trouble for that because my grandma noticed it was gone right away.
Right.
But I told my grandma, I'm like, the dolls, they're talking to me at night. Like they would move. It was like the creepiest thing and I was young. So, it was very disturbing to me.
Hmm.
And so I told my grandmother. So she immediately, takes me to church and takes me to the priest. So he says, all right, you're going to go in, we're going to do confession, you're going to do 10 Hail Marys, 15 Our Fathers, and you'll be good. They can't mess with you anymore. Now, again, I grew up a Catholic, so yeah, what the priest says goes. So I do all of what I'm supposed to do. I went home and I got in that room that night. Was like, yeah, and must go ahead and try to mess with me tonight. I'm covered by Jesus. You can't touch me.
Right.
Never do that. It was like all hell broke loose that night.
Wow.
I was so scared that the next day I moved out and I never went back to my grandparents' house. Never.
Wow. No, that's but see, nothing's ever happened to me, so I don't want. I'm not going to
That's
backtrack.
what I was going to say. That's what
Nothing's
I
ever
was going to
happened to me. So so I feel only my opinion is I don't I'm not going to go backtrack and now say this. I'm sorry that you went through that, but nothing's ever happened to me. So it's hard for me to believe or disbelieve.
Right.
I went to that clown motel, right? And few years back, and everybody said, "Oh, it's filled with clowns," and da 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 da. Well, I don't like clowns. I don't like dolls. I don't like Ouija boards. I don't like any of that stuff. So I'm already going into stuff and I'm already putting like I'm not giving it power. I'm like saying I'm not afraid of you. I don't believe in you. But that's for me. it's kind of like a Scooby-Doo thing. If I say like I don't believe in it, I am scared of all those things. But I feel if I say that I don't believe in it, that I am protecting myself. But that's my opinion, of myself because shit scares the crap out of me. I mean, yeah. So for you to go through what you went through, oh, I don't know if I probably would not. I don't know. I don't know where I'd be today. Probably inside. They had me all locked up like this, tied up in a whatever those things are called, But I,
It affected me so much. Like my girls, they never had dolls. Like I've never had a doll in my house. And then the crazy thing, I got into the paranormal, and it was like everybody thought like I was the haunted museum, and so they like, oh, I've got some dolls. Can I give them to you? And like you don't want to say no,
yeah.
but I didn't want them, so I literally rented a storage
Wow.
so that I could just put like the haunted stuff in. I would salt it and bind it and everything.
Yeah.
And then I would look for people that like that stuff and send it to them for free, right? And
Right.
that was
Right.
like at the big time when you could go on eBay and buy quote haunted dolls and everything like that. No, I had the real stuff. And the crazy part is that when my grandmother died, my dad came and he's like, "Oh, I've got your box of dolls, and there's like 15 of them, right?" And I'm like, "I don't
Right.
want them dolls." And he's like, "Oh,
Right.
Christina, you got to have the dolls. Grandma, got them specifically for all the girls, and you have to have them." No, 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 Dad. Well, let me tell you what happened. And he was like, "Well, you could give them to your daughters." No, absolutely not. No.
Right. Right.
And so he kept them for a while because I wouldn't let him bring them to me. I'm like, if you bring them, you might as well put them back in your car and take them back to Washington with you. Then
Right.
when my dad died, he still had the dolls. So then my uncle shows up with this box, and it's the damn dolls.
Come on, Dad.
I don't want the dolls, and he wouldn't take them back. So I
Wow.
literally got online and I started reaching out to people who I knew liked haunted dolls. You can have the whole lot. You can have a couple of you. I don't care. They're not. I put them in the storage. That's where they stayed. But going back to what you said, it's funny because that's why I love to take skeptics or people that are new to the paranormal or interested but they don't believe in it, because it's just like the paranormal. Until you have your own personal experience,
Right.
it's very hard to believe.
Right.
So, but once you have your own experience, it changes you then forever.
Absolutely. And it's like okay, so yes, and it's not about like me, but I've been scratched at a location before, and people say, "Oh no, you probably did it yourself," or people have this or whatever. But I know my experience. I'll never forget that at the Amador Courthouse and Jail. And I'll tell you what, I'll never go back there. But long story short, what I'm trying to say, something has to happen to me for me to believe in it. Does that make any
Yeah.
sense? And I
Oh, yeah.
assure you, all your listeners out there that love you so much, I assure you they're going to side with you about haunted dolls, about haunted Ouija boards, whatever, because it's because those people, maybe something happened to them, or the fact that they respect you so much that I think it'd be 1 out of 100 people would be like, oh, I side with George, because I don't believe in it either.
I
You
doubt it.
know,
I fight with people about these topics all the time. Kendall said,
really.
I made the mistake many times of taunting thing. Yeah, not a smart thing to do for sure.
See,
Carol Ann
yeah,
says, I picked up a free baby grand piano one day and it was haunted. It played by itself. Oh, I've been a few places that have something like that as well. Same thing. I'm constantly like online, or even when I've gone on radio shows,
hmm
and we get into debates about the Ouija board.
hmm
And the thing is it a tool? Absolutely, 100%.
hmm
But again, I had a personal experience. That's how I got my attachment, and I've never been able to get rid of it. So that makes me want to tell people to beware.
Now I
Take
would
that.
never. Now okay, so I don't. I believe the Ouija board is a piece of cardboard made by Mattel. I don't give it power, but but I'll never play it. I'll never touch it because there is that side of me like I don't want to touch that board, even though I say it's a piece of cardboard or whatever it may be. I don't want to give it energy. I don't want to give it power. So in a flip side, I'm afraid of it because it could be exactly what people say. It could be possessed, or it could bring the spirits from the other side of the veil, or it could bring in negativity, or even positive. It's not always negative. So
Well,
You
the
know?
interesting part of that is that when I got my attachment, I didn't never even touch the board. I
Wow.
just happened to be. I met these goth kids. They weren't scared of me. They didn't think I was weird and
Right.
invited me over for a sleepover for the very first time. And I'm like, yes, I was just so happy. And when I got there, they had like a converted garage. And when
Mhm.
I walk in there, that's where we're having the sleepover at. They had a table set up with a Ouija board and candles and everything. But mind you, I'm 57 now. When I
Wow.
was growing up, every one of my friends' parents had a Ouija board in their game board closet. So I never thought about it as far as paranormal.
Hmm.
Everybody thought it was like a funny board game, right? And
Right.
so I didn't have any problem with it. I wasn't scared of it. I was nothing. And I'm like, I can speak to, spirits, so I don't need a board to do it.
Right.
But
Right.
my whole life, anytime anybody found out I had abilities, they wanted me to prove it. So, this was no different. So they were like, okay, well, this is what we want to do to see if you really are psychic, right? We're going to ask questions. And before we get the answer on the board, we want you to give the answer.
Right.
Okay, sure. So they started answering questions, answering. It pendulum would move around and say exactly what I said. And then it started to get a little dark. The girl that invited me started getting mad. And she was like, who's moving this? Like this is BS, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And before I know it, like the answers were getting very personal, very
Hmm.
dark,
Hmm.
and it scared the girl. So immediately she stops everything. She grabs the board, she takes it out into the backyard, puts it into a metal garbage can, and put it on fire.
Yeah.
Big no
Yeah.
no that I know now, but
Right.
I didn't know that back then. And so, whatever they opened and brought through, and it could have been because of my abilities, right? But a
Hmm.
lot of people have abilities, but mine were so active that whatever it did, this thing decided it was much more interested in me. And I have had it ever since. I mean, I've had some like major people in this field that are true deal with exorcisms and attachments and things like that. Some of the best in the field have come
Right.
and work with me and never been able to get rid of this thing since I was young. And now I kind of have control over it. So it's like it really doesn't mess with me unless I get really sick and I'm like really sick
Right.
or or like a big energy twist where it's like I'm really like weak, and
Right.
then this thing like comes full force. So and
Right.
it's always want me to kill myself, want me to drive off of a cliff, things like that where I
Right.
I can only grab control like right at the last minute. So you know yeah, I get in debates all the time about the Ouija board, and people are like, "Oh, I use it. I've been using it for years. Nothing's ever happened." And I'm like, you know what? And great, but could you imagine if something like my story happened to you or one of your family members? Because
Sure.
I noticed that when dark attachments come, if it can't affect you anymore, it'll much rather go and affect somebody that you care about because that way it mentally can mess with you even more, right?
Right.
So I just say be very careful, with any tool. I mean, again, they're all just tools, but
Yep.
if you open up certain doorways and you don't know what's coming through,
Yep.
it can end bad. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm just gonna leave it at
You're
that.
right.
So
You're absolutely the craziest thing I've ever done was table tipping, and it was a big. I was blown away. It was from tables floating in the air. It was absolutely crazy. But when it comes to the Ouija board on the subject we're talking about, I assure you, I even though I don't so-called, I don't say I don't believe in it, but I don't want, I wouldn't play it because there's always that possibility. So I guess I'm going to sound like a hypocrite. Do I believe in it? No, but I won't touch it because I don't want to be messed with. Does that make sense at all?
well,
I hope
they
that makes
said
sense.
if you're afraid, then you believe. But and I think that's it
See,
because
yeah, see,
although you may not be, you're not going to interact with it. Being in the field and knowing what you know now,
Yeah.
there's a lot of unknown, so you don't want to take that chance.
And that's
So there's something in the back of your mind saying, yeah, this might not be a good idea, George.
but she's absolutely right though what she just said, because you're absolutely, so I guess I do believe, and I guess I do, and I'm just afraid of it, and I don't want anything negative to happen to my friends or my family or myself. So something that's unknown, it's like somebody meet a stranger on the street, and this guy's carrying, the unknown. I'm always I don't like the unknown. There you go. I just don't like the unknown, so I keep it safe. So I keep it
Yeah,
safe.
Carol Ann says that her great aunt was a medium, and she would do the table tipping, and it would float off the ground. I've actually been to a few over the years. Some 100% I felt were very legit.
Hmm.
There were quite a few other ones that I'm like, oh, you guys are just milking people for some money. Like I'm literally picking that, and I just gotta
Yeah.
leave because I can't help myself but to expose people. So it's like
Right.
I would hate to expose you in the middle of your own event. So
Right.
yeah, but yeah, I've seen some amazing things. I've definitely it'll make you a
Yeah.
believer for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. I get you. I love paranormal investigating. We had this discussion before we went on tonight. I love paranormal investigating. I really, and I think it's all about who you investigate with. I love being with, I think it's all about energy. I just love paranormal investigating, but I don't know about all the bells and whistles anymore. I don't know about that stuff. I don't know about the doll situation. We were talking about it earlier about the doll. It's supposed to stay in a box, keep it in a box, but then you see it leaving the box, people are taking it out of the box. I mean, is it the same doll? Are they using two or three, four, five different dolls? I mean, who knows? I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. Hey, Dory, how are you doing? Another one of my friends. He said with the Ouija board, it is something beyond explanation or
Yeah.
just your own self-induced negative energy. The result can be the same. Yeah, I definitely agree. And again, I've had plenty of people that had collect them, use them all the time. I will just say, again, to each their own. Once you have a bad experience, it gives you like PTSD. So it's like, yeah, I don't. I've gone to events where they're gonna like, oh, we're gonna do a Ouija board session. Oh, I'm out. I'm not even interested. Nowhere. I'm not even gonna be close because again, I never even touched the board.
Okay, so I'm glad you said that. And I know this is a great show tonight. I think it has a lot to do with the people that are with the board. Somebody could bring in negativity. Somebody could be so evil inside that you just don't know it. I mean, you could be your best. You could be with five or six people you never met before, and who knows what their intentions are? Who knows what they worship? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? So I don't know if I blame the board. It just be careful who you investigate with, or if you do the Ouija board, I personally wouldn't do it either. No, it's like a hypocrite. Is unless I maybe if it was Christina George, myself, Kendall, Vera, Scooby Doo, and Michelle LeBaron. Then I'd sit. I'd probably do it because I trust each and one of you. But if I don't know the person, I'm not touching the board. Only
You
because.
better, you better bring in Velma or something to replace me because my ass and that never going to be involved, and you will not see Christina George sitting down at no Ouija board at any time ever again. No, 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 no.
Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl.
I've seen some videos over the years of
Hmm.
people videotaping when they're doing Ouija
Yeah.
board sessions, and some of them have turned pretty dark. And I used to check back then. I have had a few people that I had the parents, their kids, had some crazy stuff that happened to them after using a Ouija board. But again, it can be any tool. It could be any tool. It doesn't have to be that.
Sure.
Just be very careful with what you're using and what you're inviting in, because again, a lot of times
Yeah.
people have no idea, and there's a whole lot of. And I'm not definitely not going to say demons because I don't think I've ever encountered one per se that
Right.
has made me think that it's a demon. But there's a lot of negative things out there that will
Yeah.
try to trick you,
Yeah.
and they'll try to make you think that it's a loved one, a friend, they know all kinds of stuff about you. It's very easy to trick. For me, it's a little different because I visually see the spirit. So it's like, okay, if you're saying that, in fact, I had an investigation I did in Oregon, in McMinnville, Oregon. And when we went downstairs, they were using a spirit box, and this everything that was coming through was talking about a guy who had died at this location, and he did die, but he died as a child, right? And
Hmm.
now he was coming back and he was saying, oh, he was 30, or no, he died there, he was 32, but now he was saying that he came back at a time when he was only 6 years old. So now he's 6 years old and he's trying to do all this. This thing was just like a big black shadow. It wasn't even like a regular human being, and it definitely was not a child. And everything it was trying to get everybody to do, and I was like, oh yeah, no, we gotta stop this right now. This isn't legit. This is something trying to play a trick. And so for me, it's a little bit different because I can see things other people can't. So you're just trusting that whatever's coming through is something positive, or who you're trying to reach out to. And I hate to say, like, even being a psychic medium, and when people want me to do readings, it's funny because I can't guarantee when I do your reading that, Grandma Sally is going to come through.
Right.
I don't have any control over who comes. I can ask for certain spirits to come forward and give a message, but it's like spirits. When you're investigating, it's not like a horse and pony show. You just walk in and you say action, and they just all start doing whatever you like. It doesn't work that way. And so sometimes I'll get messages from people, and then afterwards they're like, oh, I was really hoping to so and so would come through. Well, it might
Right.
come through another time. It's hard, and it's hard when you don't know what you're dealing with, because
Right.
it could be good, could be bad.
Yep.
Never know.
Yep.
Oh Jesus, I didn't realize we're almost out of
I know.
time.
I saw my alarm go off. Like, oh my God, what
We didn't make
happened?
it to our fact and fake videos, so I guess we're gonna have to take that over to next week, because I definitely want to do that. We
Yeah.
got all kind. We got some UFO, we got some Bigfoot, we got some weird creatures, and we got some paranormal videos. So next week, I think that the whole show it'll just be fact or faked. Everybody can come check out the videos. Let us know what you think. Are they real? Are they not? Like, sometimes it's hard to tell nowadays with all of the, video production
Yep.
and things that you can do with editing and everything. It's crazy. So
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be interesting.
I'll tell you. I will say this about you tonight is I love your energy tonight. Hopefully just the way you are tonight for this hour. I just love who you are tonight. I mean, it seems like you have all this energy and all this. I mean,
Picked
you're
up on
fired
when we
up.
started the show, huh? Because I sure wasn't that way when we first got
No,
when
I
we
know.
got
Well, I know. I agree with you, but no, your energy's it's off the charts. But all I can say to to everybody that was here tonight is, guys, that this paranormal field is mine. It's Christina's. It's yours. It's everybody's. So, if you feel like it's slipping through your fingers, don't let it. Don't let it. Let's get this field back where it was so many years ago, and let's have some fun and make a lot of memories. I guess. That's
yeah.
my punt. So.
Don't give up, everybody.
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong with keeping to yourself or a
Yep.
very small group
Yep.
and do what you love.
Exactly.
I will just tell you, if you're in it for recognition, for people to love you, for your
Fame.
all of that, you are going to fall, and you're going to fall hard, and you're going to be one of the next people we see posting talking about, I can't take anymore, I'm quitting the field. So
Yeah.
don't worry
It's
about
true.
all that. Go out and do what you love to do. And,
Yep.
if you're out there helping people, great. If you're out there researching, great. We need all of that.
Yep.
So don't let it get to you. That's all I can really say, because I know
Nice.
how hard it can get. I do
Yeah.
want to say to everybody, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Thanks for celebrating my birthday with me. My birthday is actually at 12:01 a.m.
And
So
didn't you tell me before the show, the first person that calls you tonight at 12:01 that they get to be on the show. They get free T-shirts, hats, jewelry, and all that fun stuff. So first person, wake her up tonight at midnight. Just wake her
yeah,
up.
well,
Happy
George said he
birthday.
was buying all that stuff to give away, so feel free. I'll be up
Yeah.
at that time as
Yes.
usual. So
Shit. You're funny. No, man. Thanks for everybody. Thank you for coming along tonight. This is actually fun. It went by very quickly, but it was great topic. I mean, it was. So I just think it was. This is how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like, oh my God, it's been an hour. That's when you know you're having fun. That's when you
Well,
know.
it's funny because back when we were doing the show before, we
Yeah.
had the 2 hour shows.
Oh,
And
fuck.
even those seem to go by really quick. But it's like now that I only do an hour show, I'm just like, oh my God, everything's like before you know it, it's already over. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I get it, man. I get it.
mm.
Well, oh well.
Well, again, everybody, I appreciate you being here. Make sure to come and join us next week for the faked and or fact episode. Got
Yes.
some great stuff coming up.
Yes.
Also, we want to know like what topics do you want us to talk about? Like, what would
Yes.
you like to hear? What would you like to see? Would you like to be a guest? Are there specific topics or people you'd like to bring on? Like, just whatever you want. Let us know. Like, it's completely open. We're doing things a little bit differently now. We want people to join in. I love when the chat is here with us. Oh, Stanley says, can't wait. Thank you, Stanley. And Stanley, I see that you jump around. You watch a lot of the shows out there, and I feel very blessed that you come and check ours out too. So thank you very, very much. Really appreciate you. And actually, everybody, there's a lot of people I've been friends with for a long time, but very new to seeing for the first time on the show, actually in the chat room. So you guys are making my heart happy today.
And don't feel bad about contacting Christina or myself and say, hey, look, I want to be on the show.
Yeah,
Everybody's equal. Everybody has a story to tell. Everybody's important. So feel free to say, look, do you mind if I come on the show? No one's going to say like, oh my God, I can't believe this guy called and said he wants to be on the show. Do it.
yeah, yeah.
Do it. Just come
Come
on,
on, if
man.
you have something you want to talk about, an experience, a cool place that you investigated at, you want to come
Yeah.
on and talk about a topic, come on. Like this, we might do some roundtable shows. I love
Yes.
to have shows where we have all
Yes.
kinds of different opinions. I don't like shows that anybody comes on, they just agree with me on everything because I'm not that. I let somebody know if I don't agree, and I love that people have different opinions. I like to hear everybody's opinions.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Good
All
shit. Good
right,
stuff.
guys. All right, we'll see you next week. Make sure if you're tuned in late and you're seeing this after the show, please make sure to share it with your friends in your paranormal groups,
Yes.
and that would help us out. All right,
It will.
everybody. With that being said, thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for all the birthday wishes, and we will see you next week.
Good
Good
night,
night,
everybody.
everybody.
Take care.